A special edition of Cougar Sports Saturday.
The odds caught. The 5, the touchdown. Keelan Marion left side.
Cougar Sports Saturday, the rivalry game edition, live near Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Martin shaking off tackle, stiff arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown.
This rivalry game broadcast is brought to you by UCCU. Love where you bank. Here are Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio.
Welcome on in. Hour number 3 of Cougar Sports Saturday on this rivalry game day. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you. We're live here at Roland Hall, the KSL Sports tailgate party. We got cornhole. We got donuts, BYU, Utah. We're going to have, I think, some burritos soon coming up here pretty soon. We're keeping tabs on that. So swing through Roland Hall. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you. And we're now joined live here at the tailgate by the Utah insider for KSL Sports, KSLSports.com, Steve Bartle. Follow him on X, Bartle KSL Sports. Happy game day, Steve.
Happy game day, fellas. What a day, huh?
Let's do this thing today. And what's the feeling around Utah, you think, coming into this matchup tonight?
What a loaded question.
Yeah, there's a number of feelings, right? It's certainly unique. I think it's been sort of a revelation for Utah fans coming into today where expectations are completely gone. There are no expectations. And so there's, the fan bases, I guess, part of them have sort of embraced it. Some of them have sort of let it go. And so we'll see. We'll see. But, the team itself, I think the bye week was good for them. And I think, obviously, this game speaks for itself in terms of, their ability to get amped up for this game. And so, it's going to be interesting tonight, to say the least.
Another thing that's going to be interesting is Kyle Whittingham's quarterback decision. On one hand, you've got the highly heralded freshman quarterback who's had some ups and downs. Then you got Brandon Rose, who last year I think was playing good football, then got hurt, and then he came in and, kind of a mixed bag against Houston. What would you do if you were making the quarterback decision tonight?
What would I do? Oh, man. I don't know. So let's talk about this, right? So Isaac Wilson, obviously a tremendous talent. You saw that the last 2 years at Corner Canyon, and obviously the namesake speaks for itself,
right?
Especially with the BYU Cougars, right? And so he's got talent, and it's just being a true freshman and making that adjustment to the collegiate level. It's just a totally different game, right? You have to understand so many more coverages, right? Cover 2 buzz, cover 2 sky. You've got to know what's going to happen. And so that's just a long process for Isaac. He's also, been a little beat up. He's taken some hits, and that's probably impacted his ability to execute at the level he needs to. So, if it were me, I would look for I would make a change. I would look to sit Isaac just because he's been struggling. There's probably a little bit of a loss of confidence over the last couple of weeks with the struggles. Brandon Rose has been in the program now 3 seasons. He knows the system, and Utah doesn't need drastic improvement. There's little things that can make a big difference offensively. And with Rose having that time in the program, in the playbook, he can do some things that can just kind of help keep the offense, on pace, on schedule, ahead of the chains and those sort of things, which can really make a big difference for you offensively. And so I would look to Rose. That would be the move that I would make. Obviously, Kyle Whittingham talking about the plan, and we'll see what that plan actually is tonight.
Talking with Utah insider Steve Bartle live here at Roland Hall, our KSL Sports pregame tailgate, BYU and Utah. Kickoff tonight at 8:15 right here on KSL News Radio. I want to talk to you more about Brandon Rose. He was in the 2022 cycle. Freddie Whittingham, that offensive staff then identified him early. When Brandon Rose is at his best, what is he doing? Is he a dual threat guy? Give us kind of the lowdown on the strengths of Brandon Rose.
Yeah, he's got a big arm. When you go back, when you watch his film at Murrieta Valley, which has produced some good talent, especially at that quarterback position. I think the Hank Bachmeier and that family, they came out of that program, Brandon Rose, he's got a big arm, so he can make the throws. He can push the ball down the field. Good accuracy. And so, for him getting into the program, kind of going through that similar transition that Isaac is going through this year, it's taking time to kind of make that adjustment. And so for him, it's just going to be about executing cleanly. He's got athleticism. He can make plays with his legs and that, but he's got a big arm. He loves to sling it down the field, but he can make throws in the intermediate and short areas of the field. So you're not going to lose much in terms of the arm talent. There's not much difference between the two with Isaac and Brandon. Both are pretty equal talents in terms of their ability to throw the ball. But for Brandon, it's going to come down to his decision making tonight and moving forward.
Talk to us about the defense. I feel like they're maybe flying under the radar a bit because there's been that microscope on the offense and how they have not met expectations. What have you liked from this Utah defense? Because from a stats perspective, they're doing very well, very high in the country in total defense.
Yeah, I think the defense, the numbers don't even do them justice, and the numbers speak really positively about the defense because the offense, unfortunately, has put them in some really tough situations, starting in their own territory on a number of possessions during this 4-game losing streak. So they're already, the opponent is already in plus territory, and so that's tough. But they've limited scoring as much as they have. Considering that is pretty impressive. So this group, there have been a number of injuries that have also kind of impacted this unit, and so it's just kind of been like this rotation of guys in and out of the lineup, and yet it's a group that continues to fight, that continues to put in the effort. The playmaking hasn't been what a lot of people were thinking it would be, what a lot of people hoped it would be, and Utah knows that they need to get to another level defensively to kind of make up for the difference with the loss of Cam Rising, and the offense just isn't going to be at the same level without him. And so, the defense is certainly gearing up, or I shouldn't say gearing up, but they've been working hard at work to kind of make it more of a point of emphasis to generate those havoc plays, to be opportunistic like BYU. That's been the biggest. If you guys, BYU has played tough defense, stingy defense, but they are also getting the takeaways and being opportunistic, and that is really kind of the difference between the two defenses, in my opinion. Is just BYU's been able to force a lot of turnovers, and Utah hasn't. They've lacked that, but still, they're playing really good, sound defense.
Steve, is it enough to save this season for Utah if they were to pull off a win tonight? Is that enough to save it?
I think there. That's. I don't know if it's enough to save it entirely, right? Yeah. Because of the expectations coming into the season.
Playoff.
Right. That's what we're talking about. Like a win against your rival isn't going to make up for a trip to the playoffs. It's just not. But it will make up for a lot.
Good point.
With the struggles that this team has gone through this season, combined with the experience of last year, there's just been a lot of frustration the last 24 months for Utah, both fans, players, coaches, officials. Just, I think everybody would like to see a win tonight just because it would generate a lot of positivity, a lot of, it would get that buy-in, right, to where you're looking at the rest of the schedule this month, Colorado next week, Iowa State, UCF. A win could really kind of galvanize the program and really help you down the stretch. So, yeah, I think a win, it doesn't save the season, but it does a lot.
Now that the game is back, do you feel like Utah fans, you have a great pulse of Utah fans, do you feel like they're ramped up, they're glad to have it back? Because, I understood the sides of the argument that say, let's not play, but are they glad it's back?
I don't know if the right way to say it is they're glad it's back, but they've it's certainly there, right? You can feel the emotion, you can feel the energy, you can feel the excitement and anticipation for this game. Like, obviously, considering where the program was in the Pac-12 and all the talk of the Super Conference League, like it was, I think the fans got accustomed to that. And yet you get into this week, you get into rivalry week, you start the trash talk a little bit. You get the back and forth between the fan bases, and you get excited for it. I do think the fan base has embraced it again, and I think And I don't even know if that's the right way to put it, but I do think that they've gotten behind the fact that this is a conference game and just how meaningful it is for the program.
Follow him on X at Bartle KSL Sports. He's a Utah Utes insider on KSLSports.com. Subscribe to his podcast too, the Utah Blockcast. So Steve, appreciate you stopping by here at the tailgate. And
This
I
is
know
it?
we'll be holding it down.
This is all?
We
You don't want to get into the X's and O's?
could get into more.
I got to wait around for the burritos.
News radio, we got a little bit quicker clock than the zone. We'll get hands or something. We'll get over here. We'll get more some X's and O's. But news radio, we keep this thing quick. We keep it going. We could go for hours here talking BYU and Utah, but appreciate you, Steve, for hopping on with us today.
No doubt. Thank you, fellas.
Taking a break on the other side. More Cougar Sports Saturday next. And elevate your banking with UCCU, serving both Cougar and Ute fans. UCCU, love where you bank.